So where do you want to start?
I want to start how you guys are all about in the country. And when I got here, I passed a farmer, and there was this huge thing running by the car. It's a three-legged chicken. That's how far in the country you guys are.
Oh, wow. I
Yeah.
don't even think I've noticed that one yet.
Well, I actually stopped the farmer, and I said, hey, man, looks like you've been breeding those for the drumsticks. He's like, yeah. I go, how do they taste? He's like, I don't know. We've never caught one.
Yeah, they're fast. I like it out here. It's not too bad. It's a little bit quiet, but my neighbors sometimes can be a little disturbing of the peace kind.
Really? What, so around the 4th of July and New Year's or something different?
Well, they love their fireworks, but they also love their trucks and stuff with the big engines.
Yeah.
One of our first recordings, we're sitting here recording, all of a sudden you hear, and we're like, just wait, I can edit it out. So it's not too bad. I mean, I think that's the worst thing we've had besides some rain.
It's better than my neighborhood. I used to live in Cyprus, and then I sold the house, flipped it, made a nice little profit, and then lived downtown for a year. And then I bought a fix and flip. And due to an accident, I actually was living at a mid-rise downtown, and due to their safety violations, I wound up falling down the stairs and broke one rib and bruised two, decided not to live anymore. And so I was like, I'll just live in the fix and flip. Oh, Remy, on a scale of 1 to 10, it was a 2. But now it's an 8, and that's as high as it will get just because of the neighborhood it's in. When I say live in the hood, man, I love my neighbors, but there's only 2 white guys in there, and I'm one of them.
At least you got some diversity.
Well, you know what? And that's like, I love my neighbors, but the point is also with the vehicles, and in the cul-de-sac, there's one to the right of me, and then 2 cars down, or 2 doors down. And had to go talk to the ones 2 doors down because on one of the holidays, I can't remember which one it is now, but they were, it was New Year's. They were starting off fireworks and then also shooting guns into the air.
Oh, geez.
How do I know? Because I went to go help clean up the street with my leaf blower. I was blowing stuff. Hey, we're going to sweep it up and just be a good neighbor. Then I noticed the shell casings. I'm like, oh, man. So then I got to call the police because I asked the guy, I said, hey, look, I won't report this. Just come clean this stuff. And then all of a sudden, he doesn't speak English. I'm like, come on, man. Seriously, just come out here and clean it up. He wouldn't. Called the police. He was a veteran. We talked, and he goes, did you see him shoot it? I go, no. I said, but here's the casings. Picked him up with a stick, put him in a bag, didn't touch him. And I say, just go talk to the guy. And he didn't even have to talk to the guy. While the police car was parked at my house, all of a sudden, their entire family was out there cleaning it up. And that's all I wanted, just to clean up the area so you don't trash it.
Yeah, I mean, unfortunately, my neighbors, when they shoot off fireworks, they leave all their trash in the middle of the road and stuff. And I used to love 4th of July, New Year's. I used to play with the fireworks when I was growing up, and we never really left it trash. Not like some of these guys do, and it's ridiculous.
Yeah. And back in the day, I grew up in a small farming community called New Madrid, Missouri. And we were all hillbillies. And we would have bottle rocket fights,
Roman candle
fights. Oh, my goodness. It was hilarious. Surprised nobody lost an eye. But Mom was adamant. You had to clean up your mess and clean up somebody else's mess. She's like, you got to leave it better than what you found it. And that's what we always did.
And that's, I mean, it was the same thing when we were in the Boy Scouts, and, you know, we were doing the Boy Scouts for my son, and we'd teach them the same thing. You leave the place better than when you came here.
Right.
I mean, it's just have some respect for the nature, have some respect and pride for your area, your dwelling, your neighborhood. I mean, I don't care about this neighborhood that much. It's not my favorite neighborhood, but I also don't want to see it looking like crap.
Oh, exactly. So what do you think about Boy Scouts, Girl Scouts, now just called Scouting?
I mean, what are we going to call Girl Scouts? I mean, I don't like the fact that they're taking the name away. I know why they're doing it, because they're trying to get a better PR going, because their PR's crap. Like horrible. They're about up there with the Catholic priests, but
I'll have to agree. They're not. It's not a shining example of how we should treat our youth.
Especially when I was growing up, it was a whole different aspect. It was almost just like being a cop and in the military. There was a certain set of prestige to it.
There was, yeah.
But nowadays, it's like, I don't mind girls being in the Boy Scouts because one of the chief complaints I've heard from girls is that the Girl Scouts don't do crap. They do their home ec, the all the bull dull, boring crap. And they're like, no, I want to learn how to start a fucking fire. I want to learn how to use a bow. I want to go camping.
I'm all for that. Yeah, let's make sure. My thoughts were have Boy Scouts, have Girl Scouts, just because of there's different needs out there, and with the way that nature works, you don't want them out there making little scouts. And so with that, but then you have those classes come together, and also on a hilarious scale. If we're gonna do all that, you got to open up that cookie box. When I say cookie box, those Thin Mints, those are not just being sold by Girl Scouts now. Let the Boy Scouts in on that one. That's crazy.
The popcorn for us sucks. You can't give that shit away.
You can't. I mean, it's around Christmas, and your heart just goes out to these young guys and gals that are outside Walmart's, H-E-B, and Kroger's. You're like, I'll buy. How much is it? $32. You're like, you know how many Thin Mints I can get for that?
It's like I can get Orbital Redenbachers for a lot cheaper. Well, I mean, because when we did the popcorn sales, when we came into the Boy Scouts, it was our first year. We didn't know what the hell we were doing. And they're like, we need people to sell popcorn. I'm like, well, we can do that.
Yeah.
Make it look good for little man. Well, the first year we outsold like massive. And I mean, we were first place with $1,500 some odd dollars in sales and stuff, because we would go out every freaking weekend, at least one day a weekend.
Yeah.
Tractor Supply Co. These farmer markets, and we would sell and sell and sell. And we did it the second year, same thing. We outsold the year prior, and everyone combined, we outsold all them. And then we stopped doing popcorn because we were the only ones putting in all that effort.
Yeah.
We were the only ones out there early and doing everything. And when we stopped, those sales plummeted.
You know what the Boy Scouts should be selling?
Coffee.
Coffee. Are you kidding me? Boy Scouts go out and sell this coffee, be outside one of the stores I just talked about, have free samples. Yeah, watch it roll in.
November, December, January, and February. 4 months you can sell coffee outside. Do it.
Yeah. Well, sell the chilled coffee.
Yeah, that too.
Do that one. I had $1 million idea for Boy Scouts before they changed the name, and I still think they should do it. I talked to some people. Nobody's taken the ball and run with it. And I'll preface this by asking you, how far did you go up in the Boy Scouts?
Me personally?
Yep.
No, I didn't.
Yeah, and so I stopped at, I don't know, but you know what? It stops being cool like when you can start driving, right? And so right before that, I really wanted to earn my Eagle Scout badge. But the den master, he moved. He and his family moved out of state, and we're like, what? And nobody's father would step up. And my mom says, oh, I'll help. And my stepfather's like, nah, you're not doing it. And so my best friend, his mom stepped up. Great lady, just amazing. But she didn't know how to do all that stuff.
Yeah.
She didn't know how to help us out with the badges. I mean, she's literally looking at the book. I think you do this. Wonderful woman. I love what she did. But we didn't learn anything, and it just got whoosh, dissipated. Yeah. So I never finished my project, never got my Eagle Scout. Imagine if they would call it the Golden Eagle Scout, and so, or Silver Eagle, and get it sponsored by the Anheuser-Busch Company or whoever. But name it something where you can have a legacy program. So if you went up through the Boy Scouts, Cub Scouts, or whatever, and you did not finish your Eagle Scout, you can pay, let's say $50 a month. $50 a month for 12 months, and you meet with other guys, military guys, or ones that just never finished, and you do real world stuff, and you earn that badge, and you're able to have that now. That's kick-ass.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think it should be just limited to a certain amount of time frame. I mean, there's a lot of different variables as to why someone can't complete it. And, you know, yours, Den Master moved away, and like you're saying, a lot of parents don't realize that these are the parents that are stepping in to have to do this.
Right.
And some love it more than others. Some are just in it for their kids. I mean, It's like with my son, he wanted to do soccer. We did all the stuff, signed him up for the league and everything, and get there and they're like, hey, your team has no coach. So either one of y'all has to step up to coach, or we're going to teach all you guys how to coach. And I'm standing there, I'm going, I'm going to have to do this. You know, no one else is going to do it. I feel bad for the kids. There's 7 kids that want to play soccer. No one's still like 5-10 minutes. And then finally I was like, fuck it, I'll do it. I'll do it.
Is that what your team motto was on the shirts as well?
Basically. But I mean, the thing that got me the most is like when I went into it, I didn't want to do it. I knew nothing about soccer. 8 weeks later, our season's done, and our team manager did something really cool. Got me a plaque with the kids' photos and stuff, and I was like, I might be able to do this again next season. Because I mean, for the first 4 games, we lost every game, but I was also learning. The last 3-4 games that we closed out the season, they dominated.
So you guys were the bad news bears of soccer.
That's what I kept saying. Like the Big Green. You remember that old movie?
Yeah, yes, back in the day. Yeah, there's been some decent soccer movies out there. You had I think Ladybugs with Rodney Dangerfield, and there's some other ones out there. The only one I can remember though is of note is Bend It Like Beckham. Was that a movie? I think it was.
Maybe documentary.
That's the thing about it. I grew up in America, small town, farm country in Missouri.
Football.
So, yeah, we didn't have soccer. And my cousins who grew up in St. Louis, they had soccer, but I thought it was so funny they were playing a sport that you couldn't use your arms and hands in. And now that's the largest sport in the world. And that of taking note of FIFA in Houston. Have you seen the ticket prices?
No.
Cheap ones, $660, and multiply that times 100. Are you, no, I'm sorry, times 10. So $6,600 to get out there. I'm like, holy smokes, for soccer for a 3-hour game?
But VetTix is giving away World Cup tickets.
Yes. Kudos to Bank of America for throwing in $2 million for 11 cities to put it out there. The only bad thing about that is that it's very limited tickets. It's usually anywhere between 50 and 70 tickets. And when you're looking at 42,000 people per game, you're good luck of getting that out there. Because are you familiar how VetTix does their auction items now?
No, I didn't know they did auction items.
Yeah, and so it's a lottery, not an auction. I apologize. And so what it used to be is that you would get your coins. So if I referred VetTix to you and you had no idea about it, you sign up. You get
like 10 coins.
You get 10 coins for signing up, but I get 15 coins for referring you because I've done their marketing, which is brilliant. Love that aspect of it. And it used to be that I could just go spend my coins. So it's like a silent auction. And I'm like, oh, I will bid 300 coins. And then your coins are gone.
Oh, yeah.
And that's fine. And I was like, oh, yeah, let's do that one. Well, I have a veteran organization, and I promote it a lot. And so, and I actually know one of the founders, great guy. And I was looking at it, and then I saw it switch, and I was like, oh, man, because now you bid on it. So I would still bid 300 coins on this one. If I don't win that one, I get the coins back, which is cool. But it goes into a lottery system. So it's not just me bidding on it, saying, hey, I'm all in, and I've got the most chips on the table, so I'm going to win this one. No, somebody with one coin can enter in, and I can put 300 coins. They could be the one that wins.
And they get lucky.
And I get it, how it's fair, but I mean, the people who have worked and been the OGs to help promote it, they're kind of not getting the full aspect of it. But I can't complain because those tickets are $3.95 as opposed to $600, and I'm so glad that veterans are able to utilize that organization because it is worthwhile.
It is. I love that organization. I've gone to several different concerts. I think a sporting event or two, like monster trucks and stuff I wouldn't be able to afford on a normal constant timeline. I mean, we've seen stuff like Godsmack, 3 Days Grace, Jelly Roll.
And how great is that? Because the organization that donates the tickets, they get a value. The VetTix gets value. The veteran gets value. And then whoever they take, they all feel great about it. Do you know how VetTix makes the majority of their money? Take a guess.
I mean,
think Costco.
Bulk.
Well, bulk is not a bad deal. But the way they get the majority of their money now is that Costco makes, I think, $6 billion a year before they sell any item. It's membership based. You pay to go save. Same thing with VetTix. It's not a membership per se, but you're paying $3.95 for a transfer fee. Doesn't matter if you're going to Smart Financial Center to watch a comedy show, or you're going to FIFA, or going to watch the Houston Astros. It's $3.95-ish for the transfer fee, which is a bargain. Do not get me wrong. But if you get 4 tickets, let's just round up. That's $16 that you were able to get. Now, usually they're not the best tickets. I say best tickets. A free ticket's a free ticket. However, usually not first or third baseline 3 rows back. It's usually nosebleed, but if you're savvy and you're watching the game and you notice that there's seats open, you can navigate. I'm just saying. But now you paid $16 and say they have $100 or 100 tickets per game. It starts to add up. That's just in Houston for one game. Now add that up in all 50 states where there are multiple games, multiple events. There's a lot of comedy shows they're promoting now too.
Yeah.
I love that, which is great. And so, but what that allows them to do is keep promoting and making sure that they have operating capital to go out and do something. It's a very smart model, one that I wish we could do, but we really don't have an item at Stay Tuned for Vets because we offer, 98% of what we do are offering services to veterans and family members.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, even with the nosebleed seats, depending on where you're at, we went to NRG to see Red Hot Chili Peppers, nosebleed. But we go to Woodlands to see other. We're on the lawn, and you can't beat that.
You can't. You really can't. Same with the Smart Financial Center in Sugarland. It's not a bad seat in the house. I mean, yeah, you could sit behind one of the podiums or the barricades, but they usually map it off where you can get around and see and stuff like that. But if you're going to a concert, you're there for the sound as well. The only thing bad about NRG, that's not built for sound.
Yeah, no, it's not.
And like, God bless the Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo, but every year they have a problem with their AV. And then even if it goes perfectly, it's not like, I mean, your podcast room is built better for sound than theirs. And you've done a great job in here.
Thank you.
I was admiring your work as I came in. And out there, it's an experience, though. You're going to connect with other veterans and family members and just get out of your head, because too many of us come back, whether we served and never deployed or we have multiple deployments. You come back to a culture, thankfully, that is welcoming you. But if you don't plug into it, you start to feel like the Vietnam veterans who came back and were pariahs in our community system. And man, what a shitty time in the course of United States history. Don't get me wrong. We've done some really crass things throughout our history. I won't say but.
Sorry, Japan.
Yeah. Well, there's a lot of
no, fuck that. They
Yeah.
deserve that.
Yeah. Well, but here's the thing about it. I talk about America like it's a corporation, and it is and it's not. It's made of its people. And we have so many amazing people that are willing to enlist and put their lives in jeopardy to defend our freedom and other people's, and also come back to a community and rebuild. And because of the men and women that served in World War I or World War II, we built a pretty damn good country. And our black eye is that we did not treat the men and women during Vietnam, because it was an unpopular conflict at the time, but we all know it was a war. Kind of like what's going on right now. It's like, oh, it's not a war. Do we drop bombs? Do we have boots on the ground? We got boats in the water and things flying about. It's a war.
It looks like a war. Smells like a war. But we're not Korea. This is a police conflict.
Yeah, we all know. And it's how we get around the logistics of being the bad guy. You know what? That's one of the things I learned being a combat medic in the Army, and afterwards touring the world and connecting with veterans that served in other capacities, not from the United States, and talking to those from England. They are not as well revered. They don't get the benefits. And I was just amazed. I was sitting on one of the bus rides talking to a mate, and he was amazed of how many benefits that we do have. Right? And trust me, we have to fight the VA to get in and get access to those benefits. It's getting better. But other countries, they simply don't recognize that. And I was like, man, could you imagine serving alongside Americans in a conflict or a war, and in both of you are injured, but knowing that the American is going back to a community that's going to have a parade for him, and then you're going back to a borough and you're going to have to, fight like the Vietnam veterans did.
I mean, when was the last time we actually had a parade, though? Like a welcome home military parade? Because, I mean, I know with World War II and stuff, most people, when they came home, they came home in large swaths.
They did. It was a wave.
And then Iraq and Desert Storm, it's just the unit. And the units don't really do parade. We do the pass and review crap, but, I mean, you also got 3,000 some odd soldiers in the unit standing out there at attention waiting for the general to walk by.
Yeah, exactly. And salute.
Yeah.
Where was your last duty station?
Fort Bliss, Texas.
Okay. So mine was Fort Hood, and I was with 4th Infantry Division when we deployed under Operation Iraqi Freedom, April 10th, 2003.
Okay.
And so when I got back, I was stop lost. And so I was supposed to get out in May. And I was like, oh, man, I got stuck. And so it was fine. I deployed. I was senior combat medic. I had 100 and some odd guys underneath my medical control. And I love the medics that served with me in that unit. And we get back, I transitioned out early. My wife at the time was pregnant. She had a baby. That was a debacle because they had just started the family readiness groups. And my platoon sergeant, his wife was running it. Oh, my goodness. She thought she was doing well. Man, she phoned it in. And it was just additional stress for me. And I found out 3 days after my daughter was born that she was actually born. And then it took me another 2 weeks to get home. It was just, and at the same time, my German wife was fuming. And that's one of the factors that led to our divorce. There were other things. But that was a major thing because my real family and my military family did not support. And I felt like the villain in the story because I wasn't there to help. Similar when I talk to other people that have served, or when we're in theater, when I was in Kosovo and Kuwait and Iraq, think about Star Wars. Because I was just reading an article about Kylo Ren. Who's the guy? Driver?
Adam Driver, yes, veteran.
Marine Corps veteran. And people's like, oh, due to a severe accident, he was not able to deploy. Don't get me wrong. He was a Marine, once a Marine, always a Marine, but his accident was not militarily involved. Similar to yours, he had a vehicle accident. His was a bicycle, but he had screwed himself up pretty badly. I'm not sure of all the particulars, but he was Kylo Ren. He was the bad guy. When we go overseas, we see ourselves as Luke Skywalker, and we're the Resistance, and the Princess Leia's. No. Everybody else sees us as Darth Vader and Kylo Ren. We're the oppressors. And I'm like, how in the world do we get the dichotomy of that when, it's the same coin, just flip it. And I've learned to talk, ask great questions, and then shut up and just listen and then look around. And, we get some things right when we go over, when we topple Saddam's regime and we get the bad people out of power. But at the same time, when we remove one, there's that leadership vacuum. It just sucked right in. Who's going to take over? And I'm not going to say sometimes it's better the enemy you know than the one you don't. But we should have had a plan if we're going to be over there in war for how many years?
Way too long. I mean, but even with the Saddam regime, I mean, we never found weapons of mass destruction.
No.
We never. I mean, I went in. I deployed right after you did.
Okay.
Because I was in 2004 to 2005, and when I went over, it was all that still patriotism from 9/11.
Right. Toby Keith. Let's play those songs. That's right.
But in hindsight, looking back and finding out the real story and the lies that were told to veteran or soldiers at the time, it's like, the fuck did we do? Because, I mean, if you really break it down, the only reason we went back for Saddam Hussein was because George Bush Jr. wanted to do what Daddy Bush couldn't do.
Well,
and take him.
That's part of it. He was a figurehead. Dick Cheney was the guy with the big pair of pants.
Dick.
He's the one. Yeah, that's right. He was able to move all the pieces around on the board. You get $1 billion. You get $1 billion. That doesn't matter that he served on the board with this organization and that organization because they wink support veterans. But I'm telling you, you look at it now, and you look at that board, and you're like, holy smokes, that's what really happened? Well, we are given such a small piece of the picture when we're in uniform because we're told to follow orders, right?
We're the pawns.
That's right. Exactly. Now, pawns are usually the front line. Sometimes they can be one of the most powerful pieces on the board, but typically not. And so we were the pawns. And so when I was at Fort Hood, I wanted to make sure that we recognized the pawns. And so I transitioned out. I built an Army Wall of Fame. So when I was deployed, I wrote, oh my goodness, well over 1,000 people. And
Wow.
And so I made a form letter. Hey, this is Sergeant Stroud. I'm deployed under Operation Iraqi Freedom. We'd love to get an autographed picture from you. We'd love to have one for my personal collection and any items you would like to be given away. Man, at one point during Kosovo and Iraq, I was getting more mail than my entire battalion.
Oh, wow.
And it was hilarious. And I want to share this story about when I was in Kosovo because I had a great woman leader. Actually, I had a couple. Captain Katie Hanna was in charge of our medical unit, Charlie Company in 47th FSB, Forward Support Battalion. We supported 1-6 and 2-6 out of bomb holder. We deployed to Kosovo, and she was 100% behind me on everything that I was doing. And so I made the form, and I had to go to Red Base and Blue Base and Camp Bondsteel and Monteith as a medic, and you're usually doing 10 or 12 hours on. Then you get your break, just like we were talking about, and then you're back in the mix, right? Yeah. And I was like, okay. But I signed every letter, and then I downloaded a list of all the people, ABC, NBC, CBS, all of the TV shows that were going on, all the movie studios. And that way I could find out who was going where. We didn't have the internet back then. I mean, it existed. We just didn't have it.
Yeah.
Even in Iraq, we didn't have access to all that stuff and where we could Skype with our people. Where in the hell did Skype go, by the way?
It just kind of faded away.
It did. WhatsApp kicked its ass during COVID, right? Yeah. And so I wrote these guys and gals, and I got over 700 autographed pictures.
Oh, wow.
The first one was, who was the lady that created The View? Barbara
Streisand?
No. Barbara. It'd come to me. Anyway, she, famous journalist, and she created The View. Was it Barbara Walters?
I was going to say that.
Yeah, Barbara Walters. And so I wrote her as the first one. I think she's wearing like a light blue pantsuit or something. Or it's got, I guess, she's wearing a skirt. It says, to the mighty men of the FSB, do you like older women? I sure hope so. And I was laughing because Captain Katie Hanna was there. And I would say about, anywhere from a third to a fourth, giving that mix of women veterans that I served alongside. And so some of the people that I wrote, one of them, Hugh Hefner. Hugh Hefner, he and I share the same birthday, April 9th. Hugh also served at Fort Hood when it was Camp Hood.
Okay.
He was an infantry clerk, which was really kind of cool. So I got the address. I wrote him. He wrote me letters back. He's like, what do you need? And I was like, all of it. So he sent me calendars and magazines and all kinds of fun stuff. And Colonel O'Rarty, Captain Hanna's boss, and mine too, getting all this mail in and stuff. And then first sergeant and my platoon sergeant, they're loving it because I'm just giving stuff away. Man, I got scooters, golf clubs, computers, all this stuff while we're in Kosovo. And I'd play trivia games. I would do Jeopardy, Family Feud, and just give it away. We'd host it alongside MWR, Red Cross, and some other faction. I can't remember who it is now. But we just give it away. And in between me deploying, going out into these other bases. And Colonel Rarty says, Stroud, I would love to say I was a sergeant, but I think I was PFC and just got promoted to specialist at the time. And she's like, Stroud, you get one amnesty question. I go, yes, ma'am. And we already knew what was coming out. She's like, are you dealing drugs? And I looked at her square in the face because I was getting a lot of mail. And it's like, ma'am, I hate to inform you, but yes, I am. And her jaw hit the ground. She's like, what? I go, due to the rules and regulations and my oath as a combat medic, I will duly ensure that each soldier takes the medicine as prescribed by the PA and the doctor. She's like, all right, smart ass. That's not what I meant. I go, oh, outside that, illegal drugs. No, that's not me.
Only playboys.
And she said, legally, I can't open your mail, but I can make you open it in front of me. I go, let's go. And so I got a Gerber and knife on me. And I cut up. I go, ma'am, you sure you want me to open this in front of you? She's like, open the damn box. I go, okay. Sergeant Major's there. First Sergeant's there. Oh my goodness, Rick Watson, my platoon sergeant, he's there. And I reach inside, there's a box from Hugh Hefner. And I reach in his magazine and went, flip, flip. I'm like, ma'am, is this what you wanted to see? And her face beat red. Captain Hannah kind of looked and she's like, carry on, Stroud.
So I tried to tell you.
Yeah, exactly. And it was hilarious because we would, in the PXBX, whatever it was called, where we were at, I'd brought enough screen protectors. I call them screen protectors, the little tiny clear sheets that you can put a picture in. And then I would put a picture in there, tape it up into the CP wall. Man, we're in Kosovo, 99, 2000. And there was 1.5 feet of snow on the ground. I mean, there's nowhere to go. And so we got stuck wherever we were. And so when the mail came in, man, that gave me the time to go through, open up all the letters. And then I'd put the letter in the back and I'd put the picture in the front. And then I'd tape it on the CP. Now, obviously, I couldn't put the Playboy Playmates in there. But I gave them away to all the first sergeants. And they were just, I have no idea what they did with them. And, but anybody was legitimate, put them up there. People would come in and there would be a line outside our CP just to see the pictures.
Oh, jeez.
And it was so much fun. So much fun. But one of the guys there, and we had a huge disagreement. He was our acting first sergeant. And when I was transferring back to, or redeploying back to Germany from Kosovo, because my wife was pregnant with our first daughter, Amber, and I got there in time to help deliver her, which was awesome. I took the wall down because there was no one I could trust to start taking pictures down and start doing stuff. And people was like, oh, yeah, I'll take care of that for you, Stroud. And I was like, nah, I don't know. So I told Captain Hannah and I told Sergeant Watson, I go, hey, look, I'm going to take this down. I'll put it up in Germany. By the time you guys get back, it'll be there for you. And I did. Man, he stopped me. I had everything in a case locked up, had the case on my shoulder so I could mail it back to myself. He's like, what you got in that case? And he locked me up, man. It was a dick move. And he tried to take it, and he's like, that's my wall. I go, no, it's not. And then, so I mailed it back. I put it up on the wall. It's not like I kept everything. When we got back, it was there. We did do a parade for them in bomb holder and a welcome home kind of thing there. And then later on, after we both got a military, he apologized. He's like, man, he's like, I didn't know who you were, what was going on. It was a bad situation. He's like, I apologize. What a great move. Because he could have just never talked to me again or whatsoever, but he looked me up on social media and says, hey, look, I'm going through my military career. He's like, this was a mistake. He's like, that, and he's like, I did a PT test in the snow. It was so weird. We're in Kosovo, and there's, 3 inches of snow on the ground. It's still coming down. He's like, we're doing our PT test. I'm like, you sure about that? A couple of people, bid it out there. But I transferred that to Fort Hood, and then when the guys and gals came back from 4th Infantry Division, I was already out, and I worked with a Rotary Club of Clean Heights, MWR, and the Chamber of Commerce, Greater Clean Chamber of Commerce. What a great connection this chamber had with the post to make sure that a huge mistake didn't happen again, because during Operation Desert Shield, Desert Storm, half the base, they're deployed, because even though Fort Hood is the largest military post in the United States, it was basically a 2-unit system, 4th Infantry Division and 1st Cav, 3 corps over everything. But usually you'd have one of them going, one of them coming. Yeah, exactly. And then making that transition. And during the first deployment, the spouses that were here looked to the left, looked to the right. Husbands are gone, like, I'm out of here. And so they went back home to their parents. And the economy in Killeen just went, and they're like, we need to fix this.
Oh, wow.
So the chamber came together, put it together. It's like, hey, look, what we need to do, a small parade. I said, let's have a kick-ass welcome home. They're like, what? Well, I was still in touch with all the brass at Fort Hood and talked to them. I go, hey, would you all like a little party? MWR says, party? I said, yeah. We'll help raise the money. We'll do some stuff. And I said, but you got to set up vendor booths and tables. And I got insurance companies and car dealerships. And they all said, yes, which was great. The bonehead thing about it, it was not formed under anything that I was doing. It was through the other organizations, which is fine, but it didn't give me the momentum to build on it, and that was a mistake that I'd made. But when the guys and gals came back, man, we had Randy Travis, who was the blonde actress, singer. She was in Dukes of Hazzard. She's from Central Texas, believe it or not.
Oh,
I think she's from
couldn't tell you.
Belton Temple. I think her sister's name is Ashley or something, her cousin. She was on, man, somebody's going to look this up. It's like, how could you forget her name? Beautiful woman. Man, she did not even know what she was doing. She pulled me aside. She's like, hey, Sergeant Stroud. She's like, I go, I'm not no longer in. And she's like, what's going on here? Super sweet. But her people didn't tell her what was going on. And then I explained it to her, and she's like, oh my God, yes. And I think she had military members in her family. She figured out what was going on, and she just soaked it up, and she didn't make it about herself. She went around, and she's like, can I talk to this person, that person? Well, I had reached out to Case 101 out of Austin, then also Waco 100 out of Waco, and helped Zach and Jim and everybody connect. And Zach and Jim turned out to be, I just got goosebumps. For the next 15 years or whatever it was, they made Fort Hood their priority.
Oh, wow.
Which was awesome. And again, it's number one, one of those things where radio stations are so versatile, because who listens to the radio these days, right?
You got Sirius XM, but most people listen to MP3s or on their phone.
Exactly. Or a podcast or whatever. Hopefully. Yeah, exactly. And so they shut them down, and people were just heartbroken because they had their fingers on the pulse of Fort Hood. And that is what spurred me to work with Dr. Catherine Kochula. She was the lead psychologist at Olenteague VA, and she wanted to build a statewide system, so it didn't matter which county you're in, as long as you're in one of the 254 counties in Texas, you could find benefits somewhere. So she and I went to Governor Perry, donated $1.6 million through HHSC. We built it, and it still exists today, which is great. And from there, that's where we built Stay Tuned for Vets.
It sounds like even when you were deployed, you're basically the cleaner of your unit, trying to get everything procured and stuff, and slowly establishing, building, and getting the experience you need for your nonprofit now.
It was a good step, and I was blessed that I had a mentor, Paul J. Meyer. I'd reached out to him. Have you heard of him?
No.
So I'll see if I got some books on him, and I'll definitely gift those to you.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
He's a billionaire. I think when he passed, he left the state between $2.3 and $2.5 billion. Not bad for somebody who used to jump out of perfectly good airplanes in the Army, right? And so just a great guy. And he's like, Tim, you need to join the local Chamber of Commerce, Rotary, and Toastmasters. Get busy of putting things together. And he showed me servant leadership and how to connect to people. And from there, I built a wonderful relationship with my First Sergeant Herb Silva. In fact, I talked to him last week. Great guy. And this guy was handy. He was like the MacGyver of our unit. He could build anything because we did not have latrines. We didn't have showers. And so we had to go on the economy, buy wood and stuff. Man, between him and the engineers and stuff, we built just about everything. We had abandoned brick buildings where we're at in Muktadaya and Bakuba, and we just had to go out of the gate every morning at 5 a.m. So I went with him and 3 others. We went outside the wire, and we got ice because it's 127 degrees. And it's crazy. I lost 22 pounds my first month there.
Oh, wow.
What a great weight loss program, which I don't want to repeat. We go outside the wire, and we get the huge blocks of ice, and then we'd break it up, put it in clay pots, and stack the bottled water in there so we could have some relief because we're sweating it out like crazy, right? Herb made sure he was the servant leader. I learned so much from him, and he says he learned so much from me. So it was a great symbiotic relationship. And it was crazy because he put his Army family first because he's deployed, which really hurt him at home. Because I don't know all the dynamics that happened to him, but he goes on ad nauseum about when somebody's deployed. That's a weird thing to talk about, really, because if somebody's listening to this and they haven't served in the military, they're like, what are you talking about? It's like, could you imagine somebody telling their daughter, it's like, oh, you're going to find this amazing guy. He's going to be a protector and provider for you. But wait, he's going to go to specialty classes. He could be gone for 3 months or 6 months or a year just training in the United States. Then he could deploy for a year, or a lot of cases in Iraq, a year and a half. But you're going to have 3 great kids. You're going to love them.
And I've talked about that with other people that, the dynamic when someone deploys whether you come from a military family or something, you have more of a mindset for it. But if you come from a civilian family, no military ties, especially if you're marrying into the military family, oh,
luck there.
Lordy, I
Yeah.
feel bad. Now, you said Bacoba. Where in Bacoba were you? What
Man,
pub?
that's the thing about it. We went, gosh, it was 2003. We went right after the Marines, and then the engineers went right in before us because SF and the engineers, because we had to make sure all the mines and stuff were out of the way. We went a little bit everywhere. We jumped talk. Oh, man, I was talking to Herb about this. Maybe 6 times. So every time we jump, we built up everything. We put up the OE254s, and for those who are listening or not, Army, that's a huge antenna. And so we would put it on telephone poles, trees, and we had spider monkeys that would climb all the way up there. And man, nobody else wanted to climb back up there and take it down. The new people, and it was like, hey, let's just pencil whip it. That's the only way we would get new equipment. People would use our equipment and go through there. But we just didn't have stuff, so we were around a little bit everywhere. And gosh, it's one of the funny stories. One of the guys, and thankfully this does not stick, they called me Dr. Death for a while. Not because I was a shitty medic. I was a good medic. I was better at preventative care. But I talked to NBC before I left, Nuclear, Biological, and Chemical. And not only our group, I called the lieutenant colonel who was over Fort Hood during Operation Desert Shield, Desert Storm. I go, what did we miss? Where's the playbook? And she's like, doesn't your current leadership have this? I go, pieces. I said, but I need all the pieces to the puzzle. Plus, I need to know what it looks like. She's like, gotcha. So she sent me this huge dossier of her playbook, basically. And we needed permethrin. We needed all kinds of stuff that we did. And I talked to Herb. I go, hey, can we get another Connex? He's like, what are you talking about? I go, we need more permethrin, and I need the hockey pucks. Well, that was it looks like a hockey puck, or like if you go in the men's bathroom, the urinal cakes.
The urinal cakes, yeah.
You drop those into a canister, and it kills all of the stuff. And so I put 2 in there, and I'd be in full mop gear, just sweating my ass off. But I would go in every time we jump talk. I would go out there and have people, or I had soldiers, keeping point, making sure I didn't get sniped out. And I would go around and I put 3 of those cakes in there, and then I would spray everything: ants, scorpions, camel spiders, small dogs, anything smaller than a 50-pound dog, dead. And then we had a team that would come in and clean them up, because you'd have an ant hill, I don't know, 4 feet off the ground. Well, it's going down 12 feet in the ground.
Yeah.
And so we had to kill those guys because we lose more men and women deployed each year or each time historically to diseases and viruses. So I had to make sure it was all gone. So doing all that stuff, it just changed me when I got back. I was like, I want to make sure the veterans find their benefits. So we built that. And then after a while of working with organizations that are amazing, like Easter Seals of Greater Houston, training the service dogs, making sure there's mental health access outside the VA. So if they don't want to call the VA, they then go on community cares, and they can talk to a counselor or a licensed clinical social worker or one of the other organizations. I was like, yeah, let's grow. And I was talking to my daughter, Amber. We're on our way back from 9/11. It's an event. I don't know what they really call it. It's not like a celebration, but a memorial kind of thing.
That's like when people say Happy Memorial Day.
Yeah,
What's freaking happy about
Yeah, I
it?
don't get that. Yeah. So we're at the event, and so it's first responders and a lot of military involvement. I'm the master of ceremonies, and my daughter, Amber, is the photographer and videographer. And we're driving on the way home. Great people there. I mean, Jeff with the Waves Project, his wife was with the Yellow Ribbon Project. Jay Kopic and his family was Serve, and John with John Smith, his real name, at Combined Arms. A lot of great organizations. And even the women's group with Maggie with Camp Shield and Tana with Grace After Fire. And gosh, there was one, she's always there. Melanie with Mad for Vets. Great people. And besides our little groups, and not mad at them, other people were not coming to talk to them. I don't know if they were intimidated by them because of the synergy that we have with our group that we come together and do stuff on. But they weren't talking as much. And Amber said, well, why is that? I go, I don't know. There's still silos. And people are scared because it's all about funding. Because if you go to Mattress Mac, great guy, and he donates so much to veterans. But if you go in and you say, hey, Mattress Mac, could you donate $10,000 to Veterans Unmasked podcast? Well, you're competing against me, Wounded Warrior Project, Combined Arm, anybody in a veteran organization that's asking, plus United Way, the cancer survivors, and all the different things. So they're inundated with everything. I was like, ugh, what can we do to get veterans moving forward in mental health without just saying, hey, let's go to the 5th floor and talk about mental health. No, let's do something fun. And so that's when we stayed up almost all night. We started talking about acting, dancing, singing, podcasting, woodworking, all the fun stuff. In fact, we kicked it off. Amber and I went to a game show. Are you familiar with Mr. Beast?
Yeah, I've heard of him.
Amber and I, he's got, I don't know, like 460 million viewers on subscribers to YouTube.
It's insane.
Guys, literally is a beast. I mean, the name is apt. We went on the first season of the Beast Games, and our goal was to win $5 million. And I turned down $100,000 so I could win $5 million. And then I get kicked out because somebody decides to steal the money. I was like, son of a bitch. It's a game show. And at the end of the day, I should have taken $100,000. Or one of us should. We should have planned that better. But we weren't standing next to each other. We're a football field away. And so if you haven't watched it, go watch it. It's fun. But we want to do something that put veterans in an atmosphere. It didn't matter if they're you catch them at the tattoo place, a bar, VFW, American Legion. And by the way, Houston is blessed with some great ones. RG over at VFW Post 8790 and Hector at American Legion Post 654. They have done a great job of getting the younger generation in, because when we got out, you don't even hang around a smoky bar playing bingo, right?
No. I mean, I still haven't even. I've only been to one VFW, and that was for an event for somebody else. And I have a membership and everything. I just don't go.
Yeah, that's a problem. If you don't go to the brick and mortar and see what's going on, those places will just fold on themselves like a house of cards. Luckily, we've got David at Harris County. He's doing a great job for veterans. And then our shining star is Dr. LaShondra Jones. She's with the city of Houston. Now, they've restructured underneath the new mayor. He's a good guy, but he just moved her to the right instead of just keeping her center. I would have done different things. I'm not mayor. She is still the bright, shining star because she helps rally the entire community on women's events, Veterans Day, Memorial Day. We do so many things, and she's a team of one. I keep telling you, I was like, Army of one. She's like, I was a Marine. I go, you're Army. She is awesome, and that's our unique power, is that we have so many organizations that are doing stuff. And I say organizations, it's a few key people getting stuff done. The problem is when the funding goes away, federal, state, and local, what happens to that person? They have to provide for their families. You take a key person like Dr. Jones or Jay Kopic or John Smith out of the equation, what have you done? You've disrupted that veteran ecosystem. And if it doesn't get replaced pretty quickly, what happens is that it's an unmet need. What happens to the veterans that you've provided for and say, hey, we're doing a Veterans Day parade. And then one year you decide, we're not going to do it. Are you kidding me?
Oh, they would riot.
Yeah. Speaking of Veterans Day parades, man, I'm hoping the city of Houston, if Astros go to the World Series again this year and win, that we have a parade, and because that season is right around Veterans Day. My whole goal every year that they win is have the ticker tape parade in conjunction with Veterans Day. Because Veterans Day, you're going to get a couple hundred thousand people downtown, which is awesome. Do not get me wrong. And I love emceeing the ceremony and the parade. But imagine if we could combine them and have Altuve and all these other guys on a deuce and a half, an MRAP, or on the Jeep. What's that Jeep? It's either from World War II or from Korea, right?
It's the old Willys Jeep.
Yeah. And so that's when they used them. And so it's a shame they dismantled those and didn't bring them back with our men and women that deployed.
Now, real quick, all the vehicles that are on logos or on the packages of coffee, they're actually the owner's actual vehicles.
Oh.
And I mean, he's got like the deuce and a half, 5-ton, the Jeep, an ambulance, and he takes them around to events and stuff. So those are his actual vehicles.
Great. So the majority of the Willys Jeeps, when they were in Korea, you know what they did with them?
Left them?
Nope.
Oh.
They could not leave them they had to dismantle them. But what they did, they had to make sure that they were no longer viable. They cut them in half with the welding torches. And I'm like, what? Because I would love to own one of these. But most of them are replicas these days. There's a few that are back, but it's just like, oh, come on. What a piece of Americana. I mean, it's just, if you can work on a vehicle with a screwdriver, a wrench, and a hammer, that is great. Have you seen the competitions they do with the Jeeps?
Where they just dismantle it within seconds?
Yeah, you're like, come on. And meanwhile, I'm at Discount Tire. I can't get my tires changed in an hour. I'm just kidding. That's a great company.
It took a while for ours to get changed, but they found a lot of issues with our car. No, I've always loved Jeep Willys. Just never been able to get one.
Yeah, I know. And these days, they're super expensive, right? Yeah. One of the other things I want to talk about is our community partners that do in-kind donations.
Okay.
Like one of them is 80 Players at the George Theater. Have you ever been down there?
No.
Man, remember you got to come down and bring your girlfriend with you because some of the events are family friendly. Some of them are for adults. I say adults, it's not bad content. It's just that the kiddos probably wouldn't get it. Mm-hmm. They've got one, it's Joseph and the Technicolor Coat that's coming up, but they allow us free space on Monday nights when they're dark, which means they're not showing a show. And they let us do improv classes, acting, dancing, singing, all the fun stuff there. And we were talking earlier, I don't know if it's on mic or not, we'd love to invite you not only to those classes, but to teach a podcasting class.
That'd be interesting. I don't think I've ever really taught a class.
Well, you've learned so much because it's not like you paid somebody $20,000 to come in and build this.
No.
How much of this did you build? All of it, right?
She's laughing 100%.
Yeah, exactly. It's like when I did a rebuild on the house I was talking about earlier, I did 90% of it. I got a small grant to fulfill the rest of it, and I'm not a licensed plumber nor electrician. And when I flip the house, I want to make sure that those are annotated. But you didn't have to do any of that stuff here, so you did it all.
Well, and what people don't realize is I've never really done it behind the scenes of this. This is a 12 by 24 woodshed.
Okay.
When we started this project of converting this into a studio, it was completely bare.
Oh, man.
The metal walls
Please
and everything.
tell me you've got pictures.
We might.
You got it. You got to put that together and put that into a post because the before and after, man, I love transformation videos like that.
I would have done a time lapse, but it just would have taken me too long.
No, you've done so much. I mean, from the black paint and putting up the soundproofing at the top and the microphones, the cameras, everything. You've hidden cables and stuff down here. I mean, you've done a good job.
I try. I mean, and like I said, you know, me and you were talking about it. I've done photography. I've done filmmaking. I've done marketing campaigns for other nonprofits. And it finally got to a point where I'm like, I'm tired of lugging my gear everywhere.
Yeah.
Podcast. Now, what can we do with the... And to be honest with you, it actually first came out that we wanted to record stories. And I'm a huge history buff. I love stories. And one of my biggest things is if the story's not recorded, if the story's not preserved, it's going to get lost in time.
Or bastardized.
And that too. And that's why this kind of became to fruition, is because we want to be able to record the stories and preserve them and keep them for future generations.
Oh, absolutely. And one of my biggest failings when I was with Tex Vet is that I connected with so many older veterans, World War I, World War II veterans, and I love their stories. Just like you said, they're walking history books. I was blessed to meet the first black pharmacist in the state of Missouri, Mr. Taylor, and he was 103, 104 at the time at the Missouri Veterans Home in St. Louis. And on the opposite side of that, I had the honor of speaking several times with Mr. Frank Buckles. He was the last World War I veteran, 110 years young when he died. Man, we'd put plans together with Ross Perot when he was living to have a huge flyover and parade and a party at his place for 110th. He got pneumonia. His daughter actually gave it to him. I think she was 52, 54 at the time. So he was quite spry. Do the math on that. And she got pneumonia. She gave it to him, not intentionally, but she was a caregiver because he did not want to go and live in a VA home. He had a beautiful farmland and house outside of D.C., and it just didn't work. But I didn't record it. I didn't record our conversations, and listening to him, man, I would just call him and be like, all right, Frank, what you got? I call him Mr. Buckles. He's like, call me Frank. I go, all right, Frank, what you got? Man, he was just talking about stuff, and the stories were just incredible. And you're talking about back in the day when you had to write letters and you had to number the envelopes and letters because you didn't know if they were going to cross in the mail and get there. And the things they would do, and they would send what was in the ration kits.
Mm.
And, they got cigarettes, they got beer. We would talk about that. We talked about his first car, the first car he ever saw. And I just got goosebumps again. Man, just listening to him. Could you imagine now? We live in such a digital dump that when you talk to kids, they were like, "Oh, did you get video of that?" It's like, there was no video.
Yeah.
Yeah. And, back in the day of all the stuff that's going on and just doing that. And so now one of the things we do with Stay Tuned, we work with the Greater Houston Veterans Rotary Club and the Veterans Land Board. We help guide conversations to the VLBs. They record it for the state. And then we work with the National Archives through Rotary. We've got a couple guys that spearhead that. And we interview men and women to capture their stories.
Yeah.
And it gets put into the Library of Congress.
Oh, man.
Love that, man. And so one of the heartfelt things that I get to do is I get to attend the classes. Sometimes I participate, sometimes I don't. Like the last class we had was at American Legion Post 654. I think we had 20 people show up. Kelly McBee was our dance instructor. It was awesome. Just a fabulous job. I love what she did. We had a smaller class in a room kind of like this. Jay and Lori Kopic from Charred and Starred and their charity Serve partnered with us, and we made small American flags, about the size of this, a little bit longer. And they make the larger ones, but these were perfect because it doesn't matter if we have 4 veterans or 8. It still takes 2 hours,
Yeah.
which is fine. And so they take the pressed wood and we burn it with the blow torches, and then we tape it out, and then we do an American flag or a Texas flag. And about a month ago, we did a class, and one of my buddies from Fort Hood, he flew. Man, if I get emotional, I'm not going to apologize for it. I'll just probably start crying like crazy here. I had so many ugly cries already. He served in the Army for 27 years as both a police officer and pilot. Flew everything with wings and rotors. The guy's a savant. I mean, he could look at your equipment. He's like, "Oh, hey, by the way, we could look at the base on this one. By the way, if you're getting any feedback, if you put a little tiny plastic piece like this," you're like, "How did you learn that?" And he's like, "I don't know.
Experience."
Exactly. or he'd pick it up from somewhere. Just amazing. He did that with all the stuff. So he's also a flight instructor. Turned down a very lucrative contract when he got out of the military. I mean, we're talking $400,000 for 6 months worth of work. But he would have to deploy again with civilians and miss out raising his 2 sons. He's like, "It's not worth it." He's like, "It's not worth my peace. I'm never going to get that time back." So he took a job as a police officer, became Super Cop, Rookie of the Year, and then he went to the Police Olympics, found out that's a real thing, and that he wasn't just making it up over beers. And he won, I think, 3 gold medals and a silver and a bronze.
Oh, wow.
Guy was badass and just amazing. I was like, "Man, how'd you learn to shoot like that?" He's like, "I just picked it up." Again, a savant, just an amazing guy. January, he had a stroke.
Oh.
And partial paralysis on his right-hand side. We can bounce back. Hey, his wife calls and says, "What can we do?" I was like, "Listen to the doctors." I said, "But world according to Tim, let's get him swimming. Let's get him moving." I said, "The synapses that fire together, wire together. We've got to retrain his brain and get some stuff down because there's a part of his brain that's not listening. Let's just reroute. No big deal." About a month later, though, second stroke, more debilitating. And I was like, "Something's wrong, Kathleen." So they go in for more testing. By the way, it's not at a VA hospital. He had not seen his primary care physician, not talked to a PCP. He was doing it on the economy. I was like, "Gotta go see a PCP." At this point, too late. Stage 4 glioblastoma.
Oh.
And man, we all have an expiration date stamped somewhere on the back of our head. His was glowing at this time. We didn't know how much time we got. And that time, it's a coin flip. Do you go the holistic approach and just say, "F it. I'm going to live my best life for the rest of the time that I get," and then that just check it. I'm good. Or do you fight it the way that Big Pharma wants you to? Say, "Hey, let's get them pills going. Let's get that chemo, and let's pump you full of all the stuff that we can." She worked in the medical field. It was a coin flip. It really was. And they said, "Let's go. Let's do the chemo." And man, he had more bad days than good. But they drove 6 hours to come take a class with us. And man, still a beautiful memory because he didn't want to do it. He got there and you're talking about a guy who could fire with his right hand, his left hand, both hands, close his fucking eyes, and still hit the bullseye better than me. And could barely hold a paintbrush. I was like, you're going to do it. He's like, stand in the corner. I go, get your ass over there. I say, he could still outdrink me at this point. The guy, I don't know what he did. Is maybe he just put off everything through osmosis, but he drank, and he could drink a 6-pack quicker than I could drink a beer. I don't drink a whole lot, but put it for reference. And I was like, you're going to do this. And he's like, you know what? I am. He got over there and he painted with his wife, and they created such a beautiful memory. Less than a month later, he had passed away. He died last Friday.
I'm sorry.
Man, it was tough because here's somebody that served his country for a quarter of a century, and most people will never know his name. And he would not want it at all. In fact, I was joking about with his wife. I talked to her just about every day, and his 2 sons I need to talk to more because I'm Uncle Tim. He would be so pissed off that we're making such a big deal about his death. I was like, just cremate him. Just take him to Hawaii, get on one of the helicopters and sprinkle his ashes, because that's where they used to live. And she's like, you know what? That's a pretty damn good idea. So I think that's what they're going to do. But I told her that the funeral is for the community. He was law enforcement. He was beloved law enforcement. You know, some families say, hey, run away from the cops. No, Ed's the guy you ran towards.
Yeah.
Just a great guy. And so that's one of the reasons we do what we do, is because we need to create memories to make sure that they're lasting. One of the things that I bring up, you talked about photography and all the stuff that you do. Man, being in the military, we have inappropriate humor all the time, right? There's sometimes you're like, okay, bring it down. We're actually at the funeral. I was like, no, he would love this shit. And tell those stories, right? Well, with everything, I was dabbling in photography and doing all this stuff. And man, the cameras, before the iPhone started getting really good, along with the Androids, some of the cameras, all you had to do is click the damn button, right? It was fine. A little bit of tweaking, whether you did it in color or monochrome. Man, the monochrome pictures, Remy, they turned out so pristine. One of my favorite photos is his backyard. He had built his play world for his 2 sons, including a zip line and everything that's back there. And his 2 sons are playing monkey, hanging around, ooh, ah, ah. And him and Kathleen are in the picture. It is so awesome. And that's huge avocation for anybody that's listening or watching right now. Don't wait. You don't have to be great to start, but you have to start to be great. And with the iPhones and Droids, you say, just start taking pictures. It's not like when we were kids where you get 24 or 36 exposure, and that's it. You send it off to Fuji, Kodak, or whoever, and hope that half the pictures are good, right?
After 2 weeks of waiting.
Yeah, exactly. You get 1,000 pictures in just a few minutes and then go through them later. Take the video, do all kinds of stuff that's appropriate. And we teach a few of those classes as well to make sure that veterans and family members remember the amazing bonds they built and why they did what they did. And so we're blessed that we get so many partners that help us out. And so if somebody's listening right now and they want to teach a class, please do. We just got an amazing donation from the Guitar Center. We've gotten 3 guitar classes going on. And so we talked about you possibly taking a class. You get to take 8 classes from an instructor. Then you get to keep a brand new guitar that they donated along with a case and accessories. We're going to start the trumpet classes and then drum classes as well. That's what I couldn't remember earlier.
That's what I was That's why we talked the first time, because I was curious about drumming.
Yeah. And so Ed and Kathleen had already decided to donate a drum set because they bought them for their boys. It's in plastic in the garage somewhere. So on my next trip out to Colleen, I'll get that one. So some veteran will not only get the plastic practice pad and the drumsticks, they will get a full drum set. That's one of the classes we can actually teach remotely, because it's like playing trumpet. For the first week, 2 weeks, I don't want you touching the valves at all. I want you to got to work up your armature. Same thing, got to have that muscle memory when you're doing the drums and stuff. And so, but if somebody wants to teach a class or donate to us, like I said, we're hopefully gonna do a fundraiser together. That way we can keep this going on, because it's the great area. And Also, any chance that you can be mobile, or do they have to be here?
Well, we've talked about doing mobile. We've tossed that idea around a bit. It's going to be a while before we can because I need a trailer or something. But I don't ever want to do an online interview. I like the in person.
It's totally different. Yeah.
But yeah, if we can get like a trailer or something and set it up in a way to be mobile, oh yeah.
Let's speak that to the universe, man. Let's see if we can co-brand that and do some stuff with it, because there are veterans that can't get here, but they got great stories. And what if we went to the Veterans Land Board, the Richard A. Anderson State Home, and we worked with Anthony and the team down there, and we're able to interview the veterans and get that story not only in a podcast but in the National Archives.
Because we've talked about. We talked about trying to make it to where we have enough donations and funds to pay for gas cards, just in case someone's a little further out. Or I don't want anyone to have to
That's
pay.
That's a great
to
idea.
Get here.
I love that. Yeah.
But for the ones, especially the older veterans in the nursing homes and in the care homes, they can't necessarily come here, let alone easily. Yeah. So if we could bring it to them, because right there, that's your World War II vets, that's your Korean Vietnam and Korea, absolutely, and they're going to be gone soon.
Yeah, and that's why one of the partners that we have out there, I say partners, we don't give them money, they don't give us money, but we support them. And one of the groups that we support, I've been volunteering with them because other people are like, hey, do you know about them? I was like, no, what is it? Honor Flight. And so they would start out with World War I and World War II, but also Korean and Vietnam veterans, fly them from different hubs with Southwest Airlines to D.C., and then a whirlwind, they see all the stuff there. They come back, and we have a parade for them inside. And I love that. And we're blessed with so many great team members because of the AmeriCorps program. We have 7 people on staff that are paid through grants, which is awesome. And we need to talk about that and see if we get you plugged in. Our agreement with after military service, they're the host organization, and then we get granted with them. So some of it's pay to play, like you have to pay a little bit, but you get a lot, and you may get summer interns. Basically, they get paid to volunteer, which is great. And they gave us such a robust team, and we've got Daryl that teaches the class. He brought us the guitar class.
Oh, wow.
And the guy is awesome, and he brought Fuzz with him, who taught for 2 years. Now he's a Vista, and Fuzz was an Army veteran. He's got a beard similar to yours, a little bit longer. It's purple, and he's 350 pounds.
Oh, wow.
But he's on a health journey now to lose 100 pounds, and he will get there. I do not doubt that at all. But he used to have agoraphobia. He said I could share this with everyone, and he couldn't get out of the house. Now he teaches guitar for us. He travels with a band, and he's able to go out and help other veterans. What a kick-ass story.
Yeah.
And so we didn't do that. He did that. We gave him the tools. He had to pick them up. And that is because of our awesome partnerships and our team. Oh, we can go on for 5 more hours, talk about our team, on how great they are and the stuff that we're doing out in the community. Man, I guess we need to wrap up at some point. And just want to say that veterans have realized that we live in such a great community in Texas. Houston's the #1 location for veterans, especially post 9/11 veterans in the United States. It used to be LA, but now they gravitate here. Jobs, benefits, opportunity, community. Man, I talked to a Vietnam veteran last week. His son and daughter had contacted me and said, hey, our dad needs some help. Guy's a friggin' PA. He's 78, 80 years old, still working. He can't stop, which is great. He was a corpsman. Now he's a Marine. So he wasn't in the Navy, but just a great guy. And there's videos of him all throughout on YouTube. The guy's a powerhouse. He could probably still whoop my ass. I'm not a fighter. I'm a lover. And but this guy's just awesome. He needed to connect. So I called Bob Gephardt from the Rotary Club of Veterans, Greater Houston Veterans, and Bill Palco from North Shore Rotary, both Vietnam era veterans. They neither one of them actually put boots on the ground, but they were in during that time. They do so much to help out others. They volunteer through Vietnam Veterans of America as well and wear many hats. But they drove, 2 hours in the rain because they had to go pick up each other and then come out and do everything. And then meet this veteran and his spouse. And they just took time. They laughed. They listened. And man, what a labor of love that we have so many people in this community that want to give back and connect and make sure that the ones that walked before us or alongside us don't have to suffer, that we pave the way for the ones that walk behind us.
And that's one of the harder things, is knowing that what we do today as veterans, what programs we put in place to get today will help another veteran. It will help someone in the future. You know, the younger ones that are going in now, they have no clue what the hell they're doing.
Oh,
just like when we did. And when they get out, they're going to have no damn clue what they're doing. And honestly, with a lot of these organizations, that's one of the things I want to do, is I want to be able to connect with so many organizations, get people on here, tell about their organizations, because that's the one thing you hear the most of. I didn't know.
Yeah.
I don't know about that.
Yeah, exactly. And so again, if someone's listening right now and they're a painter, we would love to have you as an instructor, because we just lost ours. She didn't pass away. She's a captain in the Army. She was a Black Hawk pilot. Now she's training to be an Apache pilot. So Brittany Scarvosia, if you're listening, thank you for all of your help. Help us find a replacement.
I hope she gets it, because doing that would be a badass job.
Oh, yeah. And the fact that the entire military system, that's a pinnacle. Everybody's like, Top Gun, I want to fly in the Navy, the Air Force, Marines, Coast Guard. Those manned and womaned flights, I don't know the proper terminology, just manned flights. Those are shrinking in numbers because of drones and technology and everything that's out there. We've got veterans that now live in the greater Houston area that have severe PTSD that have never deployed. I can talk about this now because it's been when you stamp it, and it's, what's it called? Golly, with the words, Tim, not using them. It's been sanctioned where you can talk about it.
Okay. Unclassified.
That's it, classified, yeah. And so they flew drones, and I had to sign a waiver and do all kinds of stuff. And luckily, I still had my top secret when I got out. We went to the site where they were flying drones in Houston, and they were watching things from around the world. And we're dropping bombs, doing stuff back then. So this is 14 years ago. But they had catalog stuff, and they were intel, and they were one flying the drones and doing things. Had to be somebody nearby that was making sure that it was the internal battery pack was good, and that the battery stuff on top, it was charging with solar and all this good stuff. But they were watching men and women in harm's way that were deploying, and they couldn't do a damn thing about it. And they were going home to their families knowing that they were safe, and watching their brothers and sisters on screen getting eliminated.
And I've talked about that with people before too. Like, it's with pilots that are in, like the F-18s and stuff. All you're really doing is dropping a bomb. You don't really see the
Aftermath.
impact.
Yeah.
There was an episode of MASH that did this. They had a pilot. He all he would do is drop bombs. So he never really thought about the war in the grand scheme. And then the main character, Hawkeye, broke it down for him. He's like, this is what your bombs are doing to these civilians.
What a powerful show, man.
Oh, my God.
We're talking about it 30 years after it was over.
Well, you got to remember that the last episode was one of the highest rating shows for the longest time.
At that time, it broke all of the records.
Actually, it stayed the longest until the Super Bowl just beat it not too long ago.
That's crazy. Man, it's back in the day when there were only 3 channels. 4 if you had HBO or whatever. But yeah, exactly. People were glued to the set, and that was just one of the things that I still remember the theme song. That was back then, the 60s, 70s, 80s, and into the 90s. Just about every TV show had a theme song.
Oh, yeah.
And so I don't know if they have. I don't watch TV anymore.
They were more catchy back then.
Yeah.
Nowadays, they're just to introduce the show.
Yeah, exactly.
You don't hear people singing theme songs nowadays.
They don't sing the Brady Bunch or Gilligan's Island.
No,
they sure don't. And so, because it's about content. What's the other thing?
Content.
Oh, yeah, content. Yeah, exactly. And then they want to get it to as quickly as possible, because if you don't get somebody's attention within the first 3 seconds, swipe.
There goes your hook.
Kind of like my dating life. Swipe.
It could be worse.
One day, just one day, I'll find her. Man, thank you so much for having me on the podcast. I love sharing the stories of those around me and being vulnerable in hopes that someone listening to this will share their story with somebody if they're hurting. I don't want them to go through it alone. Connect with us online at staytunedforvets.org or any of the socials. We're on just about everything. And if there's a class in your area that you want to take, and we do it in the greater Houston or in Texas, let us know. We'll definitely build something for that one. But if you're in another part of the country, hey, there are some great groups that we can partner with and do an in-person class over there, or we can do a virtual class.
I mean, and what's not to like? You get to learn to play guitar, and then you get to keep the guitar, and you have a lot of accessories.
Man, I'm telling you, it's just that, and we're going out, and I love our team so much. We go back. We just talked to Maureen Diamond, who's the marketing director of the Michael E. DeBakey VA, and the one at Houston. And we're now cleared. We're going to play guitar in the lobby and go touring there, and then the 13 different C-Box, the community-based outreach centers. And this is all under the guidance of the new director. I love the old director is Frank, another Frank, Francisco, great guy, but he retired. Brought in the new guy. Higher energy, kind of like mine, and he goes to a lot of events. He wants to soak it up and make sure that he's connected outside the VA because, the VA has, Houston VA, 5,000 employees. That's a lot, man. My town I grew up in, New Madrid, Missouri, 3,204.
You could employ your city, then some.
Yeah, that's how we end homelessness and get all the unemployment out. We just drop a VA there.
There you go.
But now they're doing so much of it. And I love our team that they're giving back, making sure that we're inspiring, doing the other things that are out there. You're doing the same thing, man. You're continuing the stories and all kinds of good stuff. And kudos again on the studio. I love it.
I appreciate it. It's a lot of hard work, and I don't think a lot of people realize the amount of work that goes into a nonprofit. It's like you said, you have an organization, but there's only so many people that are working the whole thing. You pull one away, you're cutting the legs out of that organization.
Yeah. And many times it doesn't matter if it's Rotary, the VA, or another organization, for-profit, nonprofit. It's usually a key group of people that are getting stuff done. And so we've got to make sure that they are in a good spot as well, because there is such a thing as volunteer fatigue.
Oh, yeah.
And then they just tap out.
Well, it's like I tell people, when they talk about this, everything in this studio came out of pocket. None of it came out from the nonprofit organization. Even just recently, we started minting the challenge coins for the show. Mm-hmm. That didn't come out of the nonprofit. That came out of my pocket. And challenge coins, and if you've never really ordered challenge coins, they are not cheap.
Now, that first one, you got to cast the die and do also how many colors do you want? What do you want on the other side? What's the quantity? We'll give you a special break if you order 1,000.
But that only cost you about $3,000.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, oh, yeah, let me just take that out of the Scrooge McDuck's safe over there.
Elon Musk, donate.
Oh, my goodness. You know what? I've worked with so many different mega groups that are out there, and they love to have us come out and talk. And it is such a challenge to get them to donate, not only to the legacy groups of VFW, American Legion, DAV, but the new ones. Mm-hmm. How do we keep it going if we can't get funding? I got it. There's a 2-year hump. They want to make sure that they're putting money into something that's economically viable. At the same time, how are you going to get to that point?
That's 2 years you got to struggle and go uphill.
Bootstrap it, buddy. Same thing. I put $18,000 into Stay Tuned for Vets and put it in there. And I remember times, and it wasn't mismanagement of funds. Don't get me wrong. I am horrible at paperwork. That's why I hire somebody to do it. But we just didn't have the funds. Mm-hmm. Or it's grant funded. The grant's slow to pay. Hey, Tim, transfer money. I'm going to make sure everybody, leaders eat last, right? Mm-hmm. Got to make sure they eat. And so go that one. So, again, thanks for everything. I'm going to enjoy this coffee when I go home.
Brought to you by Iron Soldiers Coffee Company. No, and it's like I tell everyone, please come back on. I want to hear more. I want to hear more of your nonprofit. I want to hear of who you're working with. I mean, if you know somebody that wants to come on, promote their story or promote their organization, send them my way.
Absolutely. Consider it done.
Awesome. I appreciate it. I appreciate you taking the time, coming out here, enjoying the country life for a little bit.
We'll go get one of them chickens.
You might want to be able to catch it. But on that note, let's get you out of here and get you back to work.
Appreciate you, sir.
Appreciate you.
A guitar